It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Let's have a chat. Alright, hello and welcome to the MatchDayVlogs YouTube channel. As always, if you're new to this channel, please remember to smash that subscribe button and hit that like button because believe it or not, it really does make a difference to the channel. Right, we're here this evening, third night in a row.
Yeah, go us. Talk about content creators.
What about that? And
influencers, a big warm... mate.
I won't go that far. Steady. A big warm welcome to all the new subscribers over the last few days. Welcome aboard. It's great to have you with us. Tonight we're going to be addressing the massive topic of discussion, which is the move of Daniel Ings off to Villa, which, let's face it, bit of a shock when the news broke last night. We were at St Mary's Stadium about to watch Levante take on us in our new away strip, the mighty yellow away strip. And the news broke whilst we were in a Saints bar enjoying a pint, came up on Sky News. Yeah. It was last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last night.
It just feels a bit surreal, really. The news came on the screen and we were there to digest it. We've obviously had a bit of time to run through a few things. I've got about 1,000 comments on the video that got uploaded late last night, so we'll get into some of those. But if you've got any comments, stick them in the chat section and we will generally go through them. Jack.
Yeah, it's been a hard 24 hours, isn't it, really?
It's been mad.
When we were in that room and it came on the news, you saw it first, I missed it. It's like, I hope that's not right. And then I found out it was right. And it just felt like we were in this crazy eye of the storm moment when we were surrounded by people who are about to be really upset and confused and angry and just all over the place emotionally. And it happened so slowly. But then when it happens, we got to the seat. We got to our seats at the game and it was that, have you seen the news? Didn't even say hello to the bloke next to me. The first thing he said was, "Have you seen the news?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yes, but
on this game, I think.
I mean, it was an incredibly well-kept secret. I understand that Danny didn't even tell his family because
they would have said, "Why? What are you doing that? What are you doing that for?
A nice place down here. What are you doing?
We got to go to Birmingham. Oh, for God's sake!"
So, obviously his family didn't know, none of the team knew, and in fact I understand from the Daily Echo reading that actually the team found out about the move as they came off the pitch, which is over 2 hours after it was publicly announced, which feels a bit cold, don't you think?
Do you know what's funny? I assumed that they knew, and that's why, I was hoping to see Teller and Armstrong maybe step up. I would have honestly told them before the game saying, "Hey, listen, Danny's gone. So, and those lot out there know, so go and show them what you're made of." But instead, they were told after the game, which maybe they were thinking save the feelings. But I think telling them beforehand probably would have been the way to go.
Yeah. I don't understand why it needed to be such a massive secret. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what? The weird thing I must find is obviously, we saw Ward-Prowse, Theo all sat behind the dugout last night. They all sat and watched the game. And from what I can see all over Twitter today, loads of people bumped into James Ward-Prowse and Theo and stopped and had a chat with them. And I'm sure that first Ward-Prowse would have been asked, "You're not going, are you? You're staying, right?" To which I feel like he could have the position that he was in and the way they let the fans in and to that zone. I feel like he must have been out saying, "No, I'm staying." And now that we know he's got a knee injury, we'll talk about that in a minute. I kind of feel like that's okay. But do you think that those players knew that he was gone? Because they must have gotten to a point where
somebody would be like, screens.
That's what I mean. They must have seen like, what a weird position for them to be in, to be like, right, we are now surrounded by fans who are like, what?
Yeah.
And we are also like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
if they weren't briefed by the press team, then that's an incredibly poor show. I would find that absolutely shocking.
yeah,
If that was the case, but this whole secrecy thing is baffling because you think about it, it's like, I mean, I think Villa have got a good deal, but it's almost like they snuck it under the radar because if the likes of the point I'm trying to make is if the likes of Chelsea and Man City and Man United found out that they could get Danny Ings for 30 million quid on 150k a week, they just do it like that. So
yeah.
what is that about?
I think it's I think it's partially Southampton thinking 30 mil was a really good bid for Danny, for
Hmm.
considering all other teams we're paying. And if that you're right, if that
That
new
time right.
if that news got out, you're right, a bit of war might have started. So they think they may want to just get this over and done with quickly as possible. But also, I think with the Grealish news, I feel like Villa were like, we need good news immediately.
Well, apparently
Like
it's only just broken that news.
yeah, but we yesterday the headline was Jack Grealish signs for City, and
Yeah,
then after it was Danny Ings. So it feels like 1-2 punch. Right, this is good. Like as soon as they realise Grealish is going, they're like right, we can get Danny if we play 30 million for him because that's over the odds. So that's kind of what it feels like.
hmm hmm
I think it was no fuss. I think the club. I think Southampton. For us. It's a player nearing 30 who's been very injury prone. Maybe I'm not saying he can't, but towards the end of the season didn't look like he can keep up with Ralph's press. So we knew he was going to be going in 11 months anyway. Whether that was on a free or something else happened. So
yeah,
it's a good deal for us. The problem for us is that we already had positions that we had to fill.
yeah,
Now we've got a position that we definitely have to fill.
yeah.
I know Ralph said after the game, Shea, Teller, Redmond, along they're all, they're going to score 3 more goals, and that sounded, the way the first part of what he said made it did sound like, they're going to need to step up, but then he did say, but we will sign another striker, so that's now priority. So I feel like our priorities now are second striker and this number 6 / centre back role. This
Yeah.
sort of versatile player that can do a bit of both. I think left back is kind of probably going to be put on the back burner a little bit. I feel like it's going to be Peru, who I thought Peru looked really good last night. I thought bottom of that wing, he's
Yeah.
a lot sprightlier than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're just going to have to deal with the fact that listen, he's your left back, and on worse, and if he go out, it's going to be Stevens, and we're going to play that sort of. He's going to play that wider left centre back, which it's not great, but that is a position. And also, apparently, Timo, who signed from Chelsea, can play both wings, although he much prefers the right. But
Yeah.
apparently, he can play both sides. So
Is
I
it
feel
that
like,
ball player?
yeah. So I feel like that's now the position we're going to be looking for. But I don't think anybody should expect us to sign a 20 million plus player.
I think we've probably got a budget for 2 players though up front. I think that's what the
Yeah.
Danny move, because I understood that the contract on the table for Danny would have made him the highest earning Southampton player. It would have been 140 grand a week, which is astronomical in terms of Southampton. I knew it was going to be high, but bear in mind that Fraser Forster had a 5-year deal at 125k a week, which is crazy money. But those days are long gone.
Yes.
But with that regard, I think he went to Villa with a 6 million signing on fee with 150k a week. But the big confusion, I think, on a lot of people's minds were, and I think one up here, Matt brought it to the table perfectly well. Thought Danny wanted to play European football. That was
Yeah.
what we were thinking, and I think that's the reason why everyone was shocked. Like the fact that Danny was on the move, that's not a shock. It's just the destination. But having done a bit more looking into it and looking at the investments that Aston Villa are making, it's kind of like a 4-year project. So they're kind of, from what I understand from the multiple amounts of comments we've had from Villa fans on this channel, is a long-term project thing. They're looking at pushing for European Champions League football within the next 3-4 years. They've got very wealthy owners. They're investing in a whole new squad, really, despite the fact of losing Jack Grealish to Man City, which was a bit of an inevitable move. Which again that move in itself makes sense for Jack Grealish because in 3 to 4 years' time, he's going to be 30 years plus. So
Yeah.
he's going to be. He needs European Champions League football now, and is worthy of playing that. So it kind of makes sense, really, for him to move on. But I still think that if Danny had played his cards right, he could have ended up at a City or a Chelsea or a United. Do you not
You're
think
not
that?
wrong. You're not wrong, and yeah, that probably could have happened. But the way I look at it is, if that had happened, I don't think we would have gotten 30 for him.
Would that be the
And
caveat in the deal? Do you think Villa has said, right, this is the deal, but no one say anything? Like, nothing gets done quickly.
probably
Right.
that factors into it. The fact that Liverpool also take the 2 mil from it as well, that probably sweetened it a bit for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a deal anywhere else would have been 20 to 25. So yeah, I honestly look at it as it's the best for the club.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather take 30 mil now, regardless of who he goes to. Okay, yes, he's going to Villa, and you can say within the league they are quote unquote rivals of of placement.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't, even with Danny. I don't see them now that Grealish is gone. I don't see them being a season away from being where they want to be. I think losing Grealish is a big setback for them, and that's something they're going to have to work around. And maybe this season might not be the one that they think it's going to be, or it might be because they have bought in other places really, really well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't care. I'm a Southampton fan, and Danny's gone. Whatever, he's gone now. You've got to not care about it.
Exactly.
You've got to not care about it because if he wanted the best for us, he would have signed a contract.
Yeah, and part of me thinks that it's almost a catch-22 thing for Danny because he could have basically done this. He could have signed a contract, okay, had a stonking first half of the season, and got picked up in a year's time by one of the other clubs.
Yeah.
But it was resting on the fact that you've got to have a decent season to be noticed by one of these clubs. So really, knowing what I know after giving it a bit more research, I think it's a safer bet for Danny, especially with the likes of, there are a few comments about Raul's pressing game doesn't suit Danny's weak knees, injury prone, having to do that high press game all the time. It's, it tires him out on that respect. But does that then mean that those are the reasons why he's in positions to have those chances? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong at all. Like, you look at every other club that he could quote unquote probably go to. Spurs would have been the one that probably suited him. Would have been better for him.
Yeah.
Because he'd be playing second fiddle to Kane. But if Kane goes, he's the man.
I'm not sure I can stomach this picture on the screen, but it's going there. I've been thinking about it for a while.
And the clubs that he wanted to go to, really, what we all thought would be one of the Manchester clubs, where he would have been playing second fiddle to Cavani, who would have been maybe injury prone. So that probably would have been the best option for him, really.
Mm.
And City, who knows what's going to happen at City? I think City's about to pop off. I think the funniest thing now to happen, if anything would happen, is somehow City pick up Messi and they bench Grealish. That would be hilarious. That would really be funny.
It would be good for English football. And
then United sign Ronaldo. Kane goes to Chelsea because that'll make everybody nuts, and it will just be the funnest season. And we'll just be wallowing at the bottom trying to battle for 17th. But we get to see some wicked players come through.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, that whole Messi thing's a bit of a baffling situation. I had a thought in my head, and your comment about Grealish being benched has completely thrown me. I was just about to throw another question at you, but I'm off topic now. But let's have a look at some of these comments in the chat section. There's absolutely loads going on. God, that's a bit dramatic. If Ward-Prowse goes, we will go down.
But he's not going, and everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
If you read, I was reading, it's Adam Blackmore, right, from Solent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a Villa fan, and he's already said, he's not going to leave Southampton, especially now he's got the knee. He's picked up a knee injury, so there's a good chance we might not even see him for the Everton game, maybe not even the United game. There's a chance that might happen. So and the fee that we would want for him would be so astronomical that you would want him straight away. It would have to be a fee where the club would be like, not only can we replace him, but we can boost to the squad. This is too much of a win for Southampton for this to happen, and that would be in your 60s, 70s, maybe even 80s. You know, it would have to be a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not going. He's not going.
Absolutely.
Vestergaard, on the other hand, still might.
We'll get onto that one. I would actually be disappointed if Saints if we'd spent 30 million on a 29-year-old injury-prone Ings. Do you know what? This is the
Isn't that exactly what they said when he came from Liverpool?
Well, yeah, exactly. We spent 20 million quid on a sick note. That was literally the stream on Twitter when we signed Ings on a loan with an option to buy, and it turns out it's the best loan deal we've ever done. So there is a lot of thought in this as well. The other factor I want to look at is the fact that, you know, we look at the likes of club legends, like the fact that means nothing anymore. It's just a case of, okay, he's been here for 3 years. If he's here for 3 years more, would that have actually made him a club legend?
You'd have to have done something, and he's had to, you know, no, not really.
No,
exactly. It's just that he'd be a homegrown boy coming through, but
you look at the likes of the thing that stings a little bit as well is the fact that, okay, I'm going to bring up Ricky Lambert. Okay, he went on to
don't check his Twitter. Don't check his Twitter, guys. Leave it alone.
Yeah, whatever his views on that aside, he got his dream move to Liverpool. Okay, and we were like, fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play. It's been a fan of the club. He's done us a great service, brought us up to the Premier League. Fantastic. He then didn't have a particularly great time at Liverpool. He did okay. But then we got Graziano Pelle. And so, you know, is this another move like that? And also with the likes of those other players, they kind of went to the clubs they wanted to. And I still don't feel, I might be wrong, but I just don't think, if you'd asked Danny Ings 6 months ago, where do you want to be in the summer? It's not in this shirt.
He would have said, I want to be playing with Jack Grealish. And before he can say at Man City, they went, oh yeah, don't worry. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we give you literally play with Jack Grealish on a fantasy team sheet the moment you sign. And that's all done within 24 hours. So, there we go. Oh. It's all right. Some alarming news. Not that alarming. Alarming in a good way.
Okay.
So, in terms of what's next, I mean, do you have any preferences from the ridiculous rumours? We were chatting a bit about Adam Armstrong from Blackburn, but I'm concerned. You know, you're spending a large amount of money on a...
It looks like he's going to Palace.
I read that as well, yeah.
That is the news that is coming through tonight, and I've seen that from a few places as well now. People who earlier on were saying that's not happening are now saying that looks like it's happening.
Right.
So probably not him.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy Abraham, Chelsea want to sell him. We want to get him on loan. And in the current, you know, situation where clubs are skint and they might be buying Haaland or some ridiculous price player, they're going to need some cash, even though we all know they're well off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't see a loan or a loan to buy happening with Tammy Abraham. So it's going to have to be probably a bit of someone on the outskirts, maybe. I've seen too many names today to keep any of them in my head, and because they were all obscure.
Right.
I did say last night, we both sort of said we hope that we don't go to the French league. I agree with that. I think that doesn't work for us.
Ligue 1.
No, it's just I think the physicality isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were talking about if you maybe Bundesliga teams, but then I've been saying for ages I would like us to pick up some wonder kid from Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
And the name that I saw pop up was what was it? I want to get it because it sounds stupid. It's Darwin Núñez from Benfica. Apparently, we put in a 10 mil bid for him last season, and they didn't get accepted. And he's had a good season, 14 goals. I think it's that. Yeah, 14 goals.
Okay,
quite a few assists. He would probably be in around the higher end that we probably won't be going for. That would be probably about 20 mil plus. But he's a young player, and he's scoring goals in a league that is pretty good. And then with the players that come from that league tend to fit in pretty well in our league. The only one that I think is sort of fallen short recently is that Pablo Silva that went to Wolves, but I still think he had some good moments of the season.
Yeah, that's what we need though. We need a young player who's prolific, who can handle the Premier League, that we can sign on a 5-year deal at about 60k a week.
The headline I saw for him was that he's the next Cavani. I was like, I like that. Let's roll with that.
Those are very big words. My goodness.
I think it's because he's from Uruguay, and that's about it.
Saint 194 is reckoning Tammy Abraham loan obligation to buy something like that with a 28 million up to 10 million add-on bonuses they might accept. That's way too much for us. That's way too much for Tammy Abraham.
The issue that we do have now
is way too much for us, I think.
Is that now clubs know Villa will have problems signing anybody else now because everybody now knows that they've got 100 mil in their pocket and the ball's in everybody else's court. And annoyingly for us, everyone knows that we've got 28 to 30 mil in the bank, so we could spend 20 mil. You know, we've got an extra. Any team that are thinking 10 mil will probably think, well, they could spend 20 mil if they wanted to now. So that's a little bit of an annoyance. So for me, it'll probably be someone probably a bit lower down the list, probably a name that we don't know that's going to have to come through. We're going to have to watch a few highlight videos and get excited for. Much like Peru, much like everyone that we've signed this season so far, minus Theo. Yeah. And on the other side of that, mate, the bees look good the other night, didn't they? Maybe we can just pick up some of them.
I'm not sure I would just yet. I thought they had a good game. There were some okay moments, but sorry, that doesn't sound very complimentary to what we saw, but I want to be positive. Help me out, Jack. Come on.
I did give you a positive, and you just kind of slammed the floor.
I just slammed it down. Yeah, I know. I'm going to change subject completely. If Leicester hadn't signed Daka, I would have wanted him to replace Ings. I think the Leicester thing's quite fascinating because arguably Leicester could have done with a Danny Ings. And it's mad to think that Bertrand is now going to get European football and Danny Ings isn't next season. You know, that's the crazy thing about this. So...
And maybe Vestergaard will as well.
Maybe Vestergaard. Have you heard any more rumours on Vestergaard?
I've not, but the fact that Fofana got that brutal injury last night against Villarreal means they are down a centre-back.
Wow. Can you imagine Leicester getting...
They'll be down centre-back for a bit. So, you know, a problem it might be that Vestergaard's a bit too much for, you know, a replacement. But at the same time, maybe not.
Sorry, let's come here. Take that disgusting Aston Villa picture.
I was just thinking that.
Should we get rid of it? Is it gone?
I wish you would. I'm upset you put it up, really.
There you go. Let's bring up this instead, because that's much more our cup of tea. Yeah.
Any pictures of the chinos last night?
Absolutely.
Last night, Ralph looked like he fell for a next catalogue and it looked beautiful.
It did. There's a comment here as well. Different topic, but you guys are going to rush out and buy some chinos for the Ralph.
Cheetos. I think I did that before I said yellows last night.
He looked spectacular. Yeah, fair play.
He did, and he looked very invested in a friendly.
Yeah. He did look like he just had his honeymoon interrupted. He says, "Can you come and manage a football game?" Oh,
He was meant to be on date night at West Key, but he's like, I've got a game tonight. It was a good look for him.
Chat here on Vestergaard to West Ham, apparently. Yeah, I read that as well.
Here's the thing, though. If we sell, Vestergaard, I think we paid, 18 mil for Vestergaard from Gladbach?
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably think that we would maybe hopefully get 23 mil for him, maybe.
Yep.
We want to make a decent amount on what we pay for him at that price. So 25, 23 to 25. And after the Euros, maybe even again pushing close to 30 as well, maybe.
Yeah, semi-finalist.
Exactly. So to get 60, let's say, high end, we get 60 mil for Vestergaard and Danny after, whatever Liverpool take away, and maybe even what Gladbach might take away. I don't know what the deal was there. Yeah. To have that extra spender money to get, okay, we said we need a striker that could have been that we're looking maybe about 20 mil. That's now definitely a possibility. Mm-hmm. Replacing Vestergaard with a number 6 and, who can also play in a centre back role as well. Maybe Delaney from what team is Delaney from? He's
Dortmund.
Dortmund, that's it. Dortmund. That's something that's been going around. I know it's not so much in our vein, our vein to get an older player to fill a role, but I watched Moneyball the other day, and I was like, we need to take some of this. Just get a player. Maybe if everyone thinks a bit past the sell-by date,
a bit of romance. Is that what you're saying?
Not romance. It's those players. What was it? They bought that. They got the player in. His knees are gone a bit, but he was like, "Listen, we've got you here to do this job. Just to do one job."
Yeah.
So, those sort. Maybe a few signings like that where it's just like, "Listen, you're not a long-term plan, but you can do a good job right now," and that is kind of what we need, because you look at the squad. There are players that will come forward and go and kick on. Gineppo's still got growing to do. Teller's still got growing to do. Kyle Walker-Peters, even Peru. There are players. There's so many players in that squad that are like they're going to be. They've got the potential to be wicked. And exactly. Got so much potential for the next few years. Yeah. So how about in just a few slots now, we've got room to just add a few older heads in, people who've been playing in the league a little bit. I know we've said bad things about it, but we say Phil Jones. He's only 29, isn't he? Bless him. If his knees are all right.
Stop it. I will end the stream.
What's wrong with this?
Stop it. I'm not joking. You stop there. It's enough. Going to change subject here. If we make 50 million out of 2 players in their final year of contract, then that's unbelievable business. Exactly. Absolutely right, Tom. I mean, when you put it like that, that's incredible. To think that, I think the Vestergaard deal, wherever he goes, that's 20 million written all over it, really, isn't it?
Minimum.
So, I think maybe 18 probably the minimum. But
tell you what, if Leicester said, "Hey, listen, we'll give you 10 mil for Vestergaard plus Vardy," I'll be like, "Oh, do you know what? Go on then. Go on then. We'll take that old man off your hands. Yeah, he's only worth like 3-4 mil nowadays, isn't he?
It's like you knew Chris.
I said that literally as I saw the Leicester tweet. Okay.
Did you? Is that just purely wind up Chris?
That's purely coincidence. I did not mean to call Jamie Vardy an old man. Do not tell him I said that, because he will come and ruin my life for 90 minutes.
Yeah, he will. But yeah, no, it's all potential. But I think with the likes of Vestergaard, writing's on the wall there, really, it's just a matter of time. I think we can all generally accept that. But Salisu was kind of a replacement for Vestergaard when that was all kicking off at the end of last season, wasn't it? So, yeah. And what we saw of Salisu last night looked decent, I thought.
And do you know who else looked decent last night? Was Jack Stevens. And I think most people report back that Jack Stevens has had a really good pre-season. I know you can't necessarily take a lot away from pre-seasons, but even last night, I thought he looked really controlled. He looked really centered, really calm, really controlling. He sort of he was very dominant in that back line. And I didn't say he looked, he just looked physically, looked a bit thicker, just looked a bit stronger, not in the wrong ways.
Yeah.
In the that's how you want your centre backs to look.
Mm-hmm.
Not as gangly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the question here makes you think where all the money has come from selling our top players.
They've mainly all been sold. That all that money was spent on.
Yeah, net spend. I think we're going into an interesting period now, because we're going into a period where you don't have Lamina, you don't have Hoyt, you don't have Danny, you don't have Ryan Bertrand. So, I mean, that's 4 players there that were on hefty wages for Southampton.
Yeah.
Don't get too excited, but hefty wages for Southampton. So I'm talking 70k a week plus. Also, with Forster coming to the end of his 5-year contract, which was on 125k a week, then that means that if he signs again, it will be on a drastically reduced contract. I'm guessing of around the same money as what Alex McCarthy is on, which I understand to be around 70k a week. So it's all kind of like balancing the books, but after a period where football's been hit incredibly hard by the likes of, well, this pandemic that we've been going through for the last 18 months. So, the money is suddenly freed up, but there's been an incredible amount of expense which has gone on. So yeah, we'll see on that, really. But it's an interesting time. Interesting time.
Yeah, it does feel like a real change of where we are and what we're doing. I feel that's why I understand a lot of fans kind of fear of what's going to happen this season, because this is the first time in a long time where you're like, this is a really different squad to what we've had.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different faces in here, and from like you say, guys that have been in the team a long time. Like, seeing a different left back is just like, oh wow, okay, yeah, this is different. Not Ryan Bertrand, okay, and things will look a lot better once you see Ward-Prowse back on the pitch. When with next to Romeo, I think that back line, I think the two fullbacks they were the best players on the pitch last night. Probably, Kyle Walker-Peters definitely was.
Got his debut goal.
First goal. It was, and what a goal it was. He absolutely pitch perfect placement. So that gets me excited. Got lots of centre back options. Even if Vestergaard goes, you've still got Semedo to come through. He's in. We saw him in the Bees. He doesn't look too far away from being a Premier League player. So
and we saw him playing on long grass, and he looked stable. So
exactly, and he was definitely a target man from set pieces. He had a really big tall jump on him.
Yeah.
So there's positives in the back line there. Like I say, I'm always saying that we should probably spend more money on the goalkeeper, but that's not going to happen, is it?
What do you think of Elyounoussi from what you saw last night?
When he was playing on the right side for the first part of the first half,
leading question,
and I thought he played really well. But then when he sort of started to have the switch with Redmond, I think his positions, I think whoever plays in that position is affected by how poorly Redmond plays, and Redmond didn't have a good game last night. I know he played very well against Swansea and Cardiff, but last night he did not play well at all. He lost the ball a lot. There was that chance where he was 1-on-1. Really, all he had to do was turn and shoot. He just kept running with it, and he could have passed it off either side or taken a shot, but instead he just turned over the ball.
Yeah.
If he's not playing well, I thought everyone around him doesn't play well. So once we sort of get that sorted, but I do think Elyounoussi will do a job for us this season. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I want him to prove me wrong. I just think that we perhaps already have players in those positions, and I just don't see him starting ahead of them. That's my only thought process on that.
No, but depth, because there's a good chance that you might say injuries happen and Armstrong has to play in the middle of the park, and then you are down an attacking winger. Let's say Theo picks up an injury because he's older than the rest of them, and he's known to be a bit injury prone. It's good to have that depth. There were times last season where we were saying, if we had Lamina, if we had Elyounoussi, we probably wouldn't be in as bad a situation. Probably wouldn't be much better, but at least we can fill a few more gaps easier. Yeah. So I think he just needs to be there. And the fact that the team last night played a full 90 minutes probably means a lot of those players will probably start against Everton.
Okay.
That's the way I sort of see it. A lot of those players will.
Yeah.
Especially now that that Walcott's definitely out for that game. So
Walcott's out. Ward-Prowse is out. Oh
sorry, not Walcott. Ward-Prowse. Sorry, I was meant Ward-Prowse.
I'd be worried then. Flipping heck. There's a few more comments here on the Jack Grealish deal. 100 million for Jack Grealish is an absolute scam. Even as a Wolves fan, I have to say, fair play to Villa. Got their money's worth.
Yep.
The record UK player signing, English signing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah. But, in looking back to our situation, what we got to do is find a front man who can score. Because last season, he scored 14 goals in all competitions for club and country.
Yeah.
So I think for us, it was 12 or 13. So we just got to find a striker that can do that. Easy, right?
Easy. To just make us all feel better, can they just pick up Graziano Pella? Just he's a free agent right now. He loves us. He'd probably take a bit of a pay cut. He loves, the Lever Hearts. He loves the club. So let's just bring him in to make us feel a bit better, shall we?
Yeah,
he could probably still do some moves.
Yeah, we definitely need that. But there's also a comment here for could get Diego Costa. God, he's the filthiest player I've ever watched play football. But I wouldn't mind it. But I just don't see Diego Costa lasting long in the Premier League when there's VAR. It's just like he'll have the police around his house after every game.
everybody knows.
Today's game.
Everybody knows. Growing up, Lionel Messi was the world's biggest Matletis fan. That's where he got it all from. So for him to be able to come to the South Coast and play like his hero, I feel like he would do it on a massive wage reduction.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, that's a nice thought, Jack. Yeah.
Imagine.
But there we go. There we go. I think we've exhausted this topic long enough. Of course, we will be chatting about this as we get closer to the season, as it comes upon us. It's a week on Saturday that we kick off against Everton away at Goodison Park. So the season is coming up on us fast. I think we need to get someone in, not ridiculously quick, but we need to make sure it's a marquee signing. When I say that, I just mean the likes of someone that can score a lot of goals. And I just don't think we're going to get a proven Premier League talent, but I just hope that we can find someone that can get those goals. And let's see. I think it's positive. It's positive. Are you feeling more positive than you were last night about the situation?
I'll be honest. Last night, I think after a certain point, I did manage to sort of divide it away and enjoy the game, and just take away the good things from the game. And even at the time, I thought 30 mil was good for us. So I'm not upset. I'm just worried about how we're going to spend this money, and how fast we can do this. You know, and the worst thing that would happen is if we sign someone, you know, a decent player, let's say like this dude from Benfica, and like Salasu, we don't see him for a while because he's got a knock. You know, something silly like that. We get a decent sign in for a cut price because they're injured right now. I just hope we don't do something stupid. You know.
Yeah.
That's my only threats right now. I just hope we don't end up playing Nathan Redmond up top next season. I hope that our starting strikers aren't Redmond and Armstrong and Adam. Sorry,
TB and Teller. He looked good last night.
Teller looked great. He looked great, but he's still very young. He's still got. He shouldn't be our first choice.
No, it's right. We do need to make an addition because I think Shane Long's also perhaps not going to get much game time. I think we were all agreeing that Shane would probably leave this summer, but now this has happened. It's like he's staying now. Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with this comment here. Subscribe to MatchDayVlogs. That's a great channel. But yes, thank you to everyone who's subscribed recently. Your support for the channel is massively appreciated. I think that pretty much sums it up. But overall, I'm feeling okay about this. I've come to terms with it. I think had we lost him to Spurs for 20 million, I'd be singing a different tune. Had we let him go on a free at the end of the summer, at the beginning of next summer, then it perhaps would have felt a little bit rough had he had a great season at St Mary's. But now we can use those funds, hopefully spend wisely, and push on into the season ahead. But this is a challenging time, so we shall see. Any final thoughts, Jack?
Quaid returns just up a great thing saying that Benfica are going for a bit of a financial crisis. So come on, let's bring Darwin over. Let's get ourselves a little wonderkin. That would be woo! Wonderkins on the coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm after. That's what I want.
Yeah. And final comment here from Scott Johnson. Didn't even say goodbye to the fans. I would hope that Danny's got something prepared. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't. But from all of us here on the channel, we wish Danny all the best. He's brought us some amazing goals, and we're certainly grateful for his service, and probably the best loan move we ever made. Agreed?
Yeah. Play the highlight package. We don't have one. We're not Sky.
No, just imagine one. This is I haven't got the budget for that. I haven't got the team yet, so we'll see.
I will remember you.
Danny's got a poem ready. Yep, perfect. Can't wait to read it. Fantastic. So thank you to everyone who's joined us here on the live stream. It's been good fun just to dissect this information and go through it, and generally hopefully make ourselves feel a bit better about the situation as we look ahead to the season ahead. But as always, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one. All right, see ya.
Bye.